There are just certain RPGs that really stand the test of time, that told such a beautiful story that they linger in your mind for your lifetime. Suikoden is one of those, most especially the first two entries on the original PlayStation. We are blessed that Konami has the remasters scheduled for 2023 for Suikoden 1 and 2, coming for many platforms: PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PC via Steam. This will be a grand opportunity for fans to revisit the Suikoden classics and for new players to try out one of the greatest examples of JRPG greatness. Even though I would argue that JRPGs have had quite the resurgence the past few years, there was such excitement during this time on the PlayStation 1 for these epic masterpieces that were being released, and Suikoden was one of my favorite examples to point to how much love and care used to go into releasing a new RPG. The rumor is that these remasters are scheduled for March 9th, 2023, but upon further investigation, and as that date nears with no more announcements at the time of this recording, I worry that perhaps it might be further into the year. When the Suikoden remasters do launch, however, we are in for a treat. Not only did the backgrounds get considerable amounts of love, but they are keeping the pixel look, which I think is a great idea, because when they smooth out too much in these remakes, in my opinion, they begin to look like a mobile game, at least oftentimes. And that turns a certain gut in my stomach that I'm not a fan of. It looks like, from what we've been shown, that we are also getting a better translation, which is needed. It was one of the few complaints with the original releases of Suikoden in the West, where the translations definitely needed some work. Of course, when you are talking about a series like Suikoden and the amount of love its fans have for the game, any changes are likely to make some upset, even if the majority agree. As a matter of fact, it is likely that perhaps even you have qualms with something about this remake. If you do, let me know in the comments what it is, or what you're worried about, or if you love the way it looks, let me know what you think as well. I have high anticipation for the Suikoden remasters. The first two were my favorite of the series, and both stories gripped me from the start. I recently wanted to see the first couple of hours of the original, and it was just as good as I remembered. Suikoden 2 gets the most love from the fans, and for good reason. It learned from the original and was definitely the better game overall. But Suikoden 1 is still just really special to me. Suikoden 1 released also on the Sega Saturn in Japan, but due to some bad policies on releases in the United States with Sega, it was never brought to the West, and that has always bothered me, as I was a Sega Saturn guy. I did get to play it once I had a PlayStation. I fell in love with the series. At the time, I wasn't the biggest fan of anime style art, and this is the game that really turned my opinion on that. And there are many more features with the Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster that I'd like to discuss. Not just the background illustrations are now in HD, as I mentioned before, they have also updated the effects on spells and attacks that really make that pixel art shine, and new improved animations on the characters as well. They also have added more environmental sound effects, and all the sound and music is in higher quality as well. Although I would expect there will likely be an option to go with the original music if you so desire. There is also now an autosave function, which Steve, who plays many games with me here on the channel, and I were just talking about how we have all become very accustomed to autosave, so I think this is a great addition. There is also a battle fast forward mode, so that always makes coming back and replaying these older JRPGs so much more fun and enjoyable when you can make the grindy sections go by faster. I know for me, sometimes I would like to replay a classic RPG, but I just don't have the time due to the grind times needed at certain points of certain games. There's also a conversation log added, so you can recap on conversations that were had, or possibly if you had to take a little bit of a break because of work or something, you can come back, you can kind of recap on what is going on in the game to refresh your memory. These are some great additions, and with the graphical improvements, this makes the Suikoden remasters one of my most wish-listed games of 2023. Now let's talk a little bit about what Suikoden 1 and 2 are. They play like a classic JRPG from the golden era with turn-based combat, my favorite. However, you can have up to 6 people in your party, and your choices on who is in your party is vast, because this game has 60 playable characters. Some of them are secrets, some of them are necessary for the story, but somehow the game manages to make all of them interesting, with a ton of life and personality. This really ups the replayability of the game significantly. Replaying it through with different people in your party, or trying out new people, or seeing what this person says in this scenario or that scenario really is a treat to behold. Both Suikodens were released to much praise and adoration amongst JRPG fans, but we haven't seen a new release since 2006 on the PlayStation 2 with Suikoden 5. The series creator Murayama is no longer with Konami, and he left during 2003 before the release of Suikoden 3. He is now making his own spiritual successor to Suikoden called Eiyuden Chronicles, which I am also very excited for, and is also supposed to release here in 2023. Between getting both of these games this year, Suikoden fans have our hands full, as this means technically 3 games in this style will be released this year, with the remaster including 2 of the best Suikoden games ever made, and Eiyuden Chronicles on its way as well. Now let's take a moment to hear from the sponsors of this video, the members of Napalm, and then we'll be back with more. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to the members of Napalm. They have strapped on their armor and are casting the spells of awesome by supporting this channel and keeping me full-time every month. Thank you so very much. And I think you are interested in becoming a member. You can do so by clicking join down below this video and pick a level that is right for you. And I would like to give a very special thank you to the Lords of Napalm, Bounty Code, Jared Woodhouse, Daimlos, Farthest Reach, Sparrow, Christopher Hensel, Random Rob, Zelik Lid, Rotten Yo Mom, Vander, Gallering Moonsong, What's the Takeaway, Trips, Daniel Cordley, Richard Glass, and Remy D. Thank you for your highest tier membership. Suikoden 1 and 2 are RPGs that should be on your radar. They are well-crafted, unique, beautiful stories, full of characters that you will always remember. And in a war-torn world where allegiances get tested, where friendships are forged and sometimes broken, I hope you will try out these classic JRPGs upon release. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And do you think the remasters can live up to the memories of the originals? Can Eiyuden Chronicles go on to be the new Suikoden style RPG of the future? Will Konami release a Suikoden 6? I kind of think it's possible. What do you think though? It is highly likely, in my opinion, that Konami is testing the waters with this remaster release to judge the audience size to budget for a new Suikoden, or at least a nerd can dream. I know they don't have the original creator, but they did go on and make 3, 4, and 5. Most of those are beloved by the fans. Sure, they weren't as good as the first and second. Sometimes it's hard to recapture that magic, but there are plenty of talented developers out there in the world that could make a new Suikoden and it'd be fantastic and true to the original's vision. It's possible. I'm not saying that it's likely, I'm just saying that it's possible. But regardless if they do an official new Suikoden or not, having these remasters in such a modern way is not only convenient, it's downright awesome. I love to think that new people are going to be experiencing Suikoden for the first time, and there's nothing better than that, and I'm all here for it. If you enjoyed the video, please drop me a like and subscribe for more RPG and MMORPG content, and until next time, my friends, God bless and happy gaming.